If you want to write scripts like the top 1% of YouTubers, here's the 50-40-10 rule that will allow you to write million-view scripts in half the time. And this is something that I learned after writing 1,000 plus scripts for the biggest educational channels. Whether you're at 0 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, the script writing techniques used by the top 1% to write viral bangers can be applied by anyone. The first 50%, aka the promise phase, is the most important, yet also the most overlooked. Most creators spend less than 5 minutes on this part, when in reality, this is the part that decides almost 50% of your video's performance. It's that important. Once you understand how to optimize this 50%, your retention graph will go from looking like this to this, and your videos will start outperforming your competitors that they'll think that you've arrived the CEO of YouTube. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a job interview. You arrive 10 minutes late, you're in sweatpants, you have a coffee stain on your shirt, and you sit down on the chair and you don't even say hello to the interviewer. Now, on paper, you might be the most qualified individual for this position, but chances are you've already lost a spot in the first 30 seconds of the interview. And that's because humans make snap judgments based on our first impressions. It's simply hardwired into our human psychology. And the first 30 seconds or the hook of your video functions the exact same way. The later half of your video could be the most valuable, life-changing content in the world. But if your hook doesn't grab the viewer's attention in the first couple seconds, your viewers will simply click away, and all of the effort that you put into creating the video will just simply go to waste. The first 30 seconds has to give the viewer a strong reason to stay. Plus, thanks to President Trump reinstating TikTok, Gen Z's attention span is cooked. And the top 1% of YouTubers understand this. So they spend their whole careers figuring out how to hack your attention so that they can get you to watch all the way till the end. And over time, these creators, after looking at hundreds of retention graphs, started to notice a pattern. And slowly, they started developing hook formulas that managed to get millions of views on every single upload. And now they just take winning formulas and plug it into their video. Take Ali Abdaal, for example. 4 years ago, Ali Abdaal uploaded this video, How to Invest for Beginners, which got over 9 million views and was a massive outlier on his channel. And then a couple years later, he uploaded the exact same video with that exact same title and thumbnail with a little bit of changes that once again got millions of views. But if you look at the intro and script of these two videos, you'll notice that the title and thumbnail aren't the only things that he reused. Let's see if you notice any similarities.
Right, so let's say you want to get started with this investing thing. You might have a bit of money saved. It's probably not enough for a house, but you reckon I should probably invest this in something. Maybe you've heard on the news about Tesla or Netflix or Amazon and how if you'd invested 10 years ago in Tesla, then you'd be a millionaire by now.
Now let's look at the second one.
So let's say you want to get started with this investing thing. You might have a bit of money saved. It's probably not enough for a house, but you decide you should probably invest it in something. You could invest in stocks, shares, equities, government bonds, corporate bonds, real estate, foreign exchange, crypto, NFTs, futures, fine art, watches. There seems to be tons of stuff out there.
Ali starts both videos with the exact same words. And for the rest of the hook, the words that he says are different, but he uses the exact same framework. They don't reinvent the wheel every time. They simply take the winning formulas and plug and play it into their videos. Let me show you exactly how they do this. I've analyzed thousands of viral videos and I've discovered what I call the MOP formula, a simple yet powerful framework that creators are using in every single video. M stands for mirror, which means to reflect what's going on in the viewer's mind. O stands for options, which means to present potential solutions that the viewer is thinking about. And P is promise, which is to position your video as the ultimate solution. But if you look at the intro of both these videos, you'll notice that the title and thumbnails aren't the only things that he reused. Ali starts both videos with the exact same words, following our MOP formula perfectly. He starts by addressing the overwhelm and confusion that the viewers might be feeling, and then he acknowledges the different investment options that they might be considering. And lastly, he positions his video as the ultimate comprehensive guide that clears everything up. He's following a proven structure that works time and time again. There's this age-old saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it cannot be more true for YouTube. If you go through Ali's most successful videos, you'll notice the MOP formula used over and over again. When you find something that resonates with your audience, double down on it like your life depends on it. That way, you don't have to constantly reinvent the wheel, which can be tiring as hell. Even Alex Hormozi says this.
Because if you have been posting consistently, more people have entered your audience. And guess what they haven't seen? That amazing piece of content that everyone from last year said was the #1 best thing you ever made made. And you know what you said? New people, you don't get that.
Even the hook format of this video was inspired by the winning formula from another channel. The best way to kill your success on YouTube is by thinking that you're a unique snowflake and ignore what everyone else is saying in favor of just being creative. Sometimes it works, but 99% of the time, you'll fall flat on your face. Now that you understand how to grab the viewer's attention in the first 30 seconds using the mob formula, let's talk about what actually matters on YouTube, how you can turn viewers into dollars. The next 40% of the 50-40-10 equation is called the trust phase. This is where we go into the actual meat and bones of your content, which is the actual body of your script. And if you nail this part, you won't just build a following, you'll build a cult of super fans who will binge watch your content for hours and hours and hours. So when you eventually decide to promote a product to your channel, they'll be willing to take out their wallets and pay you thousands of dollars without even thinking twice. But here's where most creators get it wrong. They're obsessed with the idea of providing value. Like these guys.
Provide value.
Providing value.
Now don't get me wrong, this advice isn't inherently wrong, but you have to realize that 2 to 3 years ago, giving value to your audience worked because the business and education scene didn't have that many competitors. And now the YouTube education scene is completely different. Let me prove it to you. Look at this video. It's 10 to 15 minutes long, it's full of solid information, and it's what everyone tells you to create. But watch what happens to the retention graph. Can you see how fast viewers drop off? This is what happens when you follow the just provide value playbook. Most creators could get away with providing just basic information a few years ago. But because that information is basic, the same advice that they've been given have been copied over and over and over again, being said by hundreds of other creators. And that's why now we've ended up with a bunch of 18-year-old kids telling you how to get rich when they've never done it for themselves. Here's the fundamental problem with just giving value. Value is simply showing that you know step 1, step 2, step 3. A good example is if you're a fitness YouTuber and you tell your audience to exercise 3 to 4 times a week, eat healthy, and drink 7 gallons of water a day. Sure, that's helpful information, but that's also something that your audience has heard hundreds of times over and over again. Telling your audience those things isn't something that will make you stand out. It just makes you come off as preachy and sound like a boring professor who has nothing else better to say. Instead, if you can be like that one professor that everyone loves because he shares interesting stories and interesting facts from his life that link to the actual content that he's teaching, you can build a high level of trust because number 1, the content is a lot more entertaining, and number 2, you're sharing unique insights from your years and years of experience in a niche. And that's the key. Sharing unique insights. A unique insight is when you see something that others haven't seen before and you explain it in a way that creates an aha moment in your viewer's mind. It's like being the first person to spot a hidden pattern or connection and being able to solve it and present it in a new way. Unique insights are an excellent way to exceed the viewer's expectations that you've set in the promise phase. And when we set expectations for what the viewer will get and we exceed that through our unique insights, it's when viewers come back to our channel over and over again and binge watch our content and eventually become super fans. Let me show you how to transform basic value into unique insights. I've identified 3 methods that I've personally used and all of the top creators use in their videos. Number 1 is the experience method. This is about drawing from your own unique experiences and the insights that you've gained along the way. And so instead of saying, here are 5 tips to create better thumbnails, you can say, after making 2,000 thumbnails for the top creators all across YouTube, here are 8 principles that will help you make better thumbnails. When you share advice based from your real experience of creating real stuff in the real world, what you share carries more weight than just theoretical knowledge on, say, how to make a thumbnail. And the level up from just sharing your personal stories is to share how you connect these different experiences in unexpected ways. For example, if you've worked as both a professional photographer and a psychologist, you can talk about how the visual aesthetic within your photograph can evoke certain emotions within the viewer. So just sharing how my personal experience in 2 different career fields makes for my interesting perspective within a certain niche gives the viewer a certain aha moment that you usually won't get from any other creator. Or if you're a chef who has also been a chemist and you see a chemical reaction that allows bread to rise like a fluffy omelet, that I would also consider to be a unique insight. And if you turn that unique insight into YouTube content, that's what makes it go mega viral. Number 2 is the pattern method. This is where you identify hard to spot patterns that nobody notices in your niche. When you share these patterns that you found, viewers feel like they're getting insider knowledge that they normally wouldn't get even from other people's paid content. The best part about the pattern method is that these insights don't even have to be anything crazy or complicated. They just need to be genuine observations that other people haven't seen before. For example, example, if you're creating TikTok content and you see a certain type of hook work in every single video, if you simply share that hook and show how it is being used in practice, that's a pattern that you saw that other people may not have identified or created content around. Or if I look at my YouTube analytics and I notice that when I make a certain type of video, it tends to get more views because it has a higher average view duration, and I present to you all of that data, I would also consider that as a unique pattern and a unique insight. Number 3 is the contrarian method. This is where you look at the conventional wisdom within your niche and you challenge that. When you use the contrarian method, you're not just being different for the sake of being different. Instead, what you want to do is offer a fresh perspective based on data-backed evidence. For example, if everyone is saying that you need to post once a week on YouTube in order to grow, and you look at your personal experience when working with other clients, and that absolutely isn't the case, you should make a video about it and talk about why your posting schedule isn't as important on YouTube. Or if everyone within the health space is telling you to eat red meat, and you notice from all the studies that you've had and you've been a doctor that eating red meat is actually bad for you, you need to make a video on that because that's considered a unique insight. Remember, the difference between value and insight is that value shows you what to do and insight shows you why it works. Value can be copied from others, but insights come from your unique experiences. Unique insights cannot be read from a textbook, they simply have to be learned. The best way to gather these unique insights is to do cool things within your niche and document them on YouTube, which goes the same for me. I run a YouTube scriptwriting agency and we talk to tons of clients that are doing hundreds of thousands of views, and whenever I get a certain unique insight and a new learning from there, I turn that new learning into a payoff within my YouTube video, and this is exactly what you guys get. It's the same reason why Alex Hormozi can pump out 3 one-hour-long videos every single week. And that's because he's constantly iterating with hundreds of business owners, talking to them, seeing all of their problems, and just turning all of that into content. And the same goes with all the top educational YouTubers. They're not recycling content, they're getting battle-tested insights and turning those into videos. To build genuine connection with your audience, you need to share things from your unique lens that your competitors simply cannot replicate. Now that you understand how to transform basic value into powerful insights that keeps your viewers coming back over and over again, let me show you how to turn the actual attention that you've gathered into results in the last 10% of your video. Welcome to the commitment phase. Think of the commitment phase like a movie. You could have the most gripping opening scene and the most interesting plot, but if the audience walks away disappointed, they may never watch another one of your videos ever again. Cough, Game of Thrones. This final 10% phase is where you get to the good sauce by getting that final bit of pulp squeezed from the orange juice. Skip this last part and you're missing out on thousands of views for no apparent reason. Where most creators go wrong with the ending of their video is they A, end their videos abruptly, B, throw in the most generic intro of all time and tell their viewers to like and subscribe. Instead, the top 1% of creators know how to make use of this last 10% by using the hook, gap, action framework. Let's say I made a video about how to get clients as a freelance YouTube scriptwriter. I've taught them how to do outreach and create content for themselves. Now, what I want to do is do a call to action to another video or resource that will teach them how to actually learn YouTube scriptwriting, like my 90-minute YouTube scriptwriting course. So I could say something like, knowing how to find these high-paying clients is completely useless if you don't know how to actually write a script. Luckily for you, I have a 90-minute YouTube scriptwriting course that will teach you everything that you need to know about how to write a banger script, which you can check out by clicking here. See what I did there? First, I hooked them in again by introducing a new problem that links the new content to the main content that they've just watched. Then in the same sentence, I built a gap between what the viewer knows and what they need to know. Finally, I presented a solution to that gap by telling them to watch another of my videos. That's the hook, gap, action framework, and I'll show you another example towards the end of this video. Now, the reason this last 10% is called the commitment phase is because you're getting the viewer to say yes to micro commitments. You start small by getting them to make a micro commitment to watch another video on your channel. And once they trust you more, you can escalate to get them to make bigger commitments, like clicking the link in your description or signing up to book a call with you. Eventually, when you've built enough trust off platform, you can pitch your products to them and they'll get them to buy. Plus, when you use the hook, gap, action framework and do a call to action to another video on your channel, that increases your session time and signals to YouTube that, hey, this viewer liked this video and watched another of his video, let me recommend him another of Brian's videos. And just like that, if done right, this last 10% can get someone to watch every single video on your channel. When you link each video together, you can kind kind of think of it as a spider web. When someone gets caught watching one of your videos, eventually they'll binge watch everything, and that will build a huge amount of trust and earn you a new subscriber. And that's how the top 1% of creators build YouTube empires, by leveraging micro commitments. Micro commitments aside, there's something I actually didn't tell you at the start of this video. Most people destroy their chances of their video going viral because they mess up the research process. And that's why I put together a video talking everything that I know about how to do research, how to look at your competitors, and how to eventually outline your script. You can check it out by clicking over here, and I'll see you in the next one.